Howdy y'all. Welcome to this renovation I'm doing on this small bathroom, and I thought that a good video would be how to install a vanity. So let's get started. Alright, now if you already have a vanity, then obviously you're going to want to pull it, and when I go to installing the top, you'll see how it all goes, and you just go in the opposite order of that. But if you're in a, let's say a new construction, because this is a new plumbing line, we moved the vanity from where it was to here. So first thing you want to do is make sure it fits. We have a 36-inch vanity here, and we just want to make sure that it'll fit in your space. You want to make sure of that first. Secondly, you want to make sure our toilet's right here. So you want to make sure it's not, if you're going to try to change sizes, it's not too big that it's going to get into your toilet. You want 16 inches minimum between the center of your flange and your vanity. So if you want to try to extend your vanity, you can. It's just keep that thought in mind. So the first thing we're going to do is get our vanity out of the way. There. Okay. And that's going to be our drain pipe right here. Now, you want to take your vanity. You need to know, does it have a false bottom or a drawer in the bottom or something like that? And our vanity, let me get it spun around here. Our vanity, let's get you down there where you can see him. Our vanity, this is a false front, and then there is a drawer in this space. So we pull the drawer, but what you need to know is this. What is the height from the floor to where it comes into the cavity below your sink, which is right here? And mine is 13.5 inches. So when we cut our pipe, we want it to be 13 inches when we're doing all of our measurements to cut our hole into our vanity. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and cut our pipe. So we know we need 13.5 inches. Let me check it one more time. 13.5 inches. And we want to go 2 inches above that. That gives you enough room. Now you can go more. You just got to worry about your P or your S trap in this situation getting into, fitting into your pipe. So we're going to go 15.5 inches from the floor. Now we're going to mark our pipe, and all we're going to do is go up 15.5 inches. And you want to try to cut him nice and flat. You don't want a jagged cut one way or the other. So let's cut him off. Then, once you've got him cut, we know that we're coming through our base at 13.5 inches. So what you want to do is measure from the wall to the edge of your pipe this way, wall to the edge of the pipe this way, and you want to make sure you're doing it at 13 inches. Because if the pipe comes in at an odd angle, which this one does, so if it comes in at kind of an odd angle, you want to, you don't want to measure it down here because it's going to be off. It won't be right to where it is at our 13.5 inches. So we're just going to put us a mark there just so that we don't forget or miss. And we're going to measure from one wall, and it's 24.25. And then we'll measure from our back wall. It's going to be 3.75. And that's to this side of the pipe, or this feather's edge and this feather's edge. Then you want to take your hole saw. You want to find something that is the right size. Then I'm going to bring you over to show what we're doing inside of our vanity. We know we were 24.25 from this edge, and we're 3.75 from this edge. So what we're going to do, you want to make sure you're hooking the very outside of your vanity to pull him in. Make sure you're not bumping anything. You're actually going to hook him. So we're going to hook him over here, like so. We're going to mark our 24.25. We'll pull from our back 3.75. And take our square, and we know We'll put a mark there. Make us another mark here at 3 3/4. Draw a line between them. There. I'm going to bring you in here so you can see what I'm talking about. What you'll end up with, you see here, this is our 3 3/4 mark. This here is our 24 1/4 mark. So you're going to line your hole saw, and what may help you out, let me grab the hole saw. In this scenario, if you take your hole saw and line him up just like that, that is where our hole is going to be. So you can just take and trace around your hole saw so that when you go to start actually drilling the hole, it'll make it a lot easier on you. So let me do that. Now I should mention, our drain is the only thing that is ran right now. We're running PEX down through this, so it makes it easier in this situation because I can't get under the house. But if you already had your water lines, your hot's on the left, your cold will be on the right. If you already have the water lines, you'll need to do the exact same thing we just did 2 more times for your water in lines. Now I will mention that anytime you have the opportunity, you always want to drill with your seam side, drill through your seam side. You don't want to come from bottom up in this scenario, because what would happen is that sometimes when you push through, that layer, the outside layer on that plywood, which is supposed to be waterproof, it'll push it up in a crack and pucker, and you just don't want that. This is where it gets tricky when you're by yourself, because you have to get that vanity up high enough to get on the pipe, and we're going to shoot for it. Let's just see what happens. He's tied against this wall, he's tied against this wall, so now we're going to check him for level. What you want to do? Throw your old Lavelle on him. He's good. If he's not good in this situation, let's check him this way before I say too much. So he's a shade on our back side here. On our back side, he's a shade low, which is kind of a good thing, because at least then I can show you exactly how to fix that. What you're going to want to do is get a couple of these guys, and all you do is tap him up under there and get him leveled up. We know our back corner here is a little off level, so we're going to take a shim, and it may take 2 if it does. Just stack them on top of each other just like that, and we're going to tap, tap, tap. I'm going to throw our level back on him here, and we like about looks about 1/8 of an inch. So let's just tap him a little bit. Outstanding. So now what you're going to do is take your oscillating tool and just trim that shim right off. Now, since it does sit higher, we're going to have to run 1/4 round around our vanity now that it's, or along this side, now that it's up a little higher than what we wanted. So let's trim him off. Now, ideally, to anchor this guy, you want to hit a stud, but here I have this is a lap siding, it's a rough cut ship lap, but so anywhere I anchor it, I'm anchoring to wood, which is good. I'm still going to try to hit a stud. I know there's a stud in this corner, and I know there's a stud on the side of this box. So I'm going to hit them too. And all you're going to do is, all vanities will have this, a mounting board at the top like this. So you screw through him into your wall. So let's do that. So now that we got that, we're going to, since we have a sidewall that we're mounting to, we're just going to throw one into that sidewall also. I know there should be one right here on the side of this box. So let me do him. So that's the hard part. It's done. Our vanity is mounted. Now it's time to mount your fixture into your sink. And first thing, there's three main sizes of fixtures. You'll have a single hole, which you don't see in vanities that often. And then you'll have a 4-inch, which is just your two feeds, the distance between them. Then you'll have an 8-inch. Usually 8 inches are usually for kitchens. A lot of times your single or is kitchens also. Usually it's a 4-inch. You do get 8 inches in vanities, and you do get singles in vanities, but anyways. So you want to start with your actual fixture, and it'll have this little thing. Some of them don't. This is kind of a waterproofing thing, a plate, and you're going to run him through your holes in your vanity, and you'll have rings, nuts that look like this. You just go ahead and screw them guys on your two feed. Now I usually just tighten these by hand. Now I tighten them pretty tight as I can by hand. And if you grab your faucet, you know, your fixture, and it moves, then by all means put something on there. But keep in mind, the day may come you got to take those guys off. And the tighter they are, the harder it is. Not that, I mean, hopefully it'll be years, but anyways, we get them guys tightened down. And then you'll have your stopper, or your handle for your stopper, you know, your plunger for your stopper. I like to go ahead and slide him in there. And then you'll have your tailpiece look something like this. This is where your stopper goes in. So what you want to do is, there's a nut on him right here, right there. I like to take that nut and get him all the way as low as he'll go. Then there'll be a rubber washer. I like to go ahead and get him down that way too. So he looks something like this is what you're shooting for. And then you'll have your top of your strainer or drain, and it'll be a nut. You know, it'll be a pretty nut, the color of whatever you got. Now I think there are people nowadays that are doing silicone here. I don't. I still do it the old school way, which I actually did upgrade to this plumber putty roll. So, but you take plumber's putty and you put him around that ring on the top of your drain, like so. There we go. You want it to look something like this. See there? And you want to push him into the top on the other side, on the inside of your sink. You're just going to slide him there. Then you're going to take your tailpiece with the threads up here. You want to screw him into that nut up top. And I like to go ahead and tighten him down as much as I can by hand. And you want that plunger, where that plunger knob's, that little nipple coming out, sticking to the back of your sink. So we've tightened down our ring up front. Now we're going to kind of push everything towards the bottom of your drain. So we're kind of squeezing that plumber's putty. Then we're going to take and we're going to try to rock that washer up into him as much as we can before we start with our nut. So we get him about as far as we can, then we start tightening with our nut here. And you're going to need to hold your tailpiece while you tighten, because you don't want this to spin. You just want to tighten this nut. You want to make sure as you're tightening, you're looking at this rubber washer, and you want to make sure he's not crinkled or anything. You want to make sure he's fitting up in there like, you know, tight, like he's going inside. We just keep on tightening. You don't want, see there? You don't want to be able to spin him. And then you want to take your actual stopper here, and you see this on this side, you want that flat part facing towards that nipple on the back of your tailpiece. So you just slide him up in there, and you'll have something like this. And there's something like this. There's a ball on there with a nut, and that that rod there goes into that square piece on your stopper, and that's what raises it up and down. So we'll tighten him up here, and then you want to test him. You just go up and down, make sure he stops and unstops. So what you want to do is, after you test that he works, leave him open. And some look like this, some of them are metal. This is just this brand, but you want to make sure your plunger is all the way down, and then you want to pick a hole that works, that when you put him on here, you put your plunger in here up top, and there's a set nut here. We're going to tighten him down. And what you're looking for with this, you may have to play with it a little bit, but what you're looking for is that when you pull your plunger, he stops your, when you pull, your plunger rod, he pulls your plunger down. You want to make sure he actually stops the water flow. So that's all the way up, and then we push him all the way back down. And you take, I missed a point here. Let's come back up. Now that we know that he works, you know it's this second hole. So we're going to take him, and you'll have something that looks like this. What you do is put it on here first, and then you put your extender to your plunger rod, your plunger stopper rod, and you slide him on. You squeeze these guys together, and you can do whatever. And then when you let him loose, he don't want to move. So then we slide this plunger rod back in, we tighten our set screw here, and there's some room for adjustment here. So like I said, you're gonna have to play with him a little bit, but you can tighten him back up like so. Then you check him. Does he stop your plunger all the way? He does. There we go. So there's that. That means that this bottom half is done. So we're going to set him on top, and I'll show you how we finish that. There's our plunger. What we want to do is pull him and make sure that he does what we want him to do. And we're watching this guy. He's draining. We pull him up. He's not draining. And then I'm going to take your knife or something along those lines and just run it right around this edge of your drain ring there. You want to peel that plumber's putty off. There. Now I will mention, if you're doing a stainless steel sink, you know, this is a stone countertop. If you're doing a stainless steel sink, they make a specific plumber's putty that won't stain up your sink. I recommend getting it because it will stain a sink. Fact. There. What I did is balled it up, and any of them little pieces I just took and dabbed at, and it'll stick to them and get them up. There we go. Okay. Now we open him back up. So now we're going to actually mount our top. You want to go ahead and put your hoses on before you put your top in. So what we're going to do is easy mount. And all we want to do is go ahead and screw our hoses onto our valve. You're going to want to snug them down. So I'm doing that now. Now you want to use a liquid nail, or I'm using power grab. You just want some type of glue that will stick to stone and to wood. And all you want to do is put your line all the way around him. A lot of times this back won't catch, but I still like to glue it just in case. There. So you end up with something like that. And you want to make sure you don't have any on the outside of your cabinet here. There. And all you're gonna wanna do is take your top, set him on there. But you wanna try to set him in place, don't try to move him. So we're gonna set him. We just wanna put a little bit of pressure here. And we wanna let him set up as long as we can. Sometimes that's 5 minutes, sometimes that's overnight, but that's what we're shooting for. Now we move to our underneath plumbing. If your drain comes out of the back, you will need a P trap. If it comes through the bottom like this one does, you will need an S trap. So that's a 2-inch line. You can get these guys right here that are 2-inch slip, and this is your adapter to your S trap or P trap. Mine's 1.5 inches because I wasn't paying attention when I went to the hardware store. Luckily, I looked around in the trailer and I found a reducer. So I'm going to reduce it from 2-inch to 1.5 inch to slid to my drain. So what you'll need, since like I say, if you have the correct adapter size, then you can just go straight onto your drain and you're ready to run your P-trap. Since I do not, I will take and put a nipple into, so essentially something along them lines, and then that will go onto mine. So I'm going to do that real quick, glue all this together. I'm going to glue him straight onto this pipe. So this is a small camera, a small area. This is a big guy, so you're not going to get to see what's happening, I'm afraid. So I'm going to do that real quick. I will say, not a bad idea is to take a rag and lay down in there and then set your glue on top of it in hopes that you don't get it on your cabinet when you're doing it, or your vanity when you're doing it. But if you do, go ahead and wipe it up quick before it has time to dry. So let me do this real quick. So this is our S-trap. One side has a nut that does not come off. And then this side, you see how this is expanded here and here? That's for your pipe to go into, your tailpiece here, and then this piece that'll come with your S-trap. So this is what you're looking to do right here. You're looking for this guy. Ta-da! S, but in reality, N. Anyways, so you're gonna take him and slide him onto your tailpiece here, and the bottom of your thing, bottom of your sink. And if you see where, let's see, can you see back there? So what is happening, I don't know if you can see it. Let me try the other side. Can you see that? So what is happening is this is sitting lower than this by about 1.5 inches. So that's why this tail piece is so long. We can cut him off. So what we're actually going to do is cut him off. We want our nut up high, so we're going to cut him off to right there, and we're going to end up leaving about 1.5 inches. So let me cut him off. What you want to do is leave enough that you can make that slip fitting on that expanded piece we talked about. And then in your little baggie, you're going to have some of these nylon washers. See this guy? The way it works is you slip this nut on first, right? And then you slip on your nylon washer, and you want the bevel facing away from the nut, so it'll tighten into there. We're going to take on our tailpiece here, we're going to put our nut, get the hoses out of the way, and then we're going to put on our nylon washer, our beveled washer, and it should stay up there like that. And then I like to go ahead and disconnect my my S-trap here, and I slide him on here just like so, and you tighten this nut down. So I'm going to do that. And I didn't tighten him hard. He's just hand tight so that I can still spin him like so. And then now we can set this S-trap on top, and we're going to hand tighten him also. I'm gonna try to get you up in here. Let's see. Let's see here. There. So, can you see, here's the other side of my S-trap, and this is my fitting. So what I'm gonna do is take the nut off of my adapter here, and he usually has a built-in washer on him unless you've got the one that goes to 1.5 inches, and then you would have to get another nylon reducing washer. So we know this space between these two guys is like 1/2 inch. So we're gonna take this piece that came with it, and this is about 1.5 inches, and we can go down in there as honestly probably as far as we want. We won't go that far, so we're gonna actually cut him about 3 inches. And we'll end up with this guy. And what we're gonna do is slide him down into our adapter, and then slide him back up into the bottom of our S-trap. I'm gonna have to get the camera out of the way so I can get in there, but just that's to let you know that's what we're doing. That's our S-trap going to our drain. Now what we want to do is go through and tighten all of these nuts down. Now we have our drain hooked up. We want to hook up our feed lines, and it's always hot on the left, cold on the right. And this will be a 3/8 screw fitting here. You can get them some 1/4, but it's supposed to be for a vanity feed. It should be 3/8 of an inch. And then you'll have some 1/4 turn valve, or some of them are just the standard screw type valves. But you just want to hook your hot feed to the left, your cold feed to the right. And there we go. That's our drain. The way that you want to test him is you pull your stopper up top, you fill your sink full of water, and then you undo your stopper to let him drain. That is going to tell you if you've got a leak. You can't just run water. You want to make sure it fills up everything. There you go, folks. That is how you install a vanity. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you liked it, you know, give me a like, comment, subscribe, shoot me something. Thanks for watching. Till next time, keep making dust.